Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder once again with another Reddit story for you. This one comes from Best of Redditor Updates. Heyo. And is titled, My Neighbors Didn't Like the Color My House Was, so they had it painted a different color while I was out of town. Okay, here we go. This was originally posted September 5th, 2015. OG. So this is probably a really weird question for me to ask, but it's a weird situation and I'm not totally sure what I can do. My house is on a corner lot. 2 years ago, a newlywed couple moved into the one house that's beside me. Right away, they started making weird comments about the color my house was painted, yellow, and soon switched to outright demanding that I paint it a different color. My house was painted yellow when it was built. I like the color and there's no bylaw against it or anything. They have called the police on me about it, as well as the city, both of whom told them to pound sand because I hadn't done anything wrong and there was nothing they could do. They also tried suing me in court. The suit was thrown out and they had to pay my legal fees, and getting our other neighbors together to form a homeowners association in hopes eventually I could be forced to paint my house a different color. Our other neighbors also told them to pound sand, and they have basically alienated themselves from everyone else in the neighborhood at this point. Hold up. They just assumed that everybody felt the same way. They're like, everyone, can you believe what she's doing? Come here, let's form a group. We can all be against her. And they're like, no, just no. I recently had to go out of town for something. I was gone for 2 weeks. When I got back 2 days ago, my house was gray. Oh shit. Seriously. I actually almost drove past it because I'm so used to my yellow house. I knew immediately who was responsible. When I went over and knocked on their door, no one answered. Oh my gosh, that's a shock. I think the couple figured out that I was away, and not just at work when they saw our neighbors collecting my mail for me, because I sure as hell never told them I was going away, and I know my other neighbors hate them too and didn't tell them. The neighbor from across the street came over and showed me pictures that he took of the painting company setting up and doing the work. He said he and another neighbor called the police, but the painting company had a valid work order and had been paid, so the police couldn't do anything. Bullshit! Contact the homeowner, make sure they have permission. How about that? He also told us about it, but because they were paid to do the work, they said they had to do it to avoid being sued. I called the painting company to get a copy of the work order, and it was in the name of a Ms. Jane Smith and was paid for in cash. A redheaded woman and her redheaded husband came to the company to hire them. My neighbors are both redheads, saying they would be out of town and would like their house painted while they were gone. They gave the painting company pictures of my house taken from the street. I had a surveillance camera at my front and side doors and in my backyard because I work shifts, and as a woman living alone, I don't want some stranger breaking into my house and waiting to ambush me when I get home. My neighbors never set foot on my property at any time, so they can't be charged with trespassing, and they didn't do the painting, which was actually done properly. When I called the police, they reiterated that since the painters were hired, had a valid work order, and were paid to do the job, they can't be charged with trespassing because it was reasonable for them not to know, and that they were acting in good faith and didn't cause any physical damage to the house. Also, the neighbors can't be charged with trespassing or vandalism because they didn't come on my property or touch the house themselves. What? I don't know if I can sue anyone because there was no actual damage or harm done to me or to the house. My neighbors still have not answered their door or shown themselves. I am pissed off beyond belief because I like my yellow house, and I can't believe how crazy that they have been. I wish I could show a court or city council how psycho they have been over this. I want to know if I have any recourse or if I can do something to get them to pay to paint the house back to yellow. Does anyone know what I can do to get them to fix this and paint it back? Edit, I live in the state of Louisiana. Relevant comments before we get to that. Lady, hire somebody to paint their house yellow. Yeah, it takes you some money, but just like they did this, you couldn't be charged for shit. And hopefully what will happen is they'll have to pay again to have their own house repainted because they hate yellow that much. Relevant comments here. Commenter, call your homeowner's insurance. File a vandalism claim. Insurance company pays you. Paint your home back yellow. Give insurance company all the information and let them sue them. This is why you have insurance. Another comment, they defaced your property. That is vandalism. Depending on how much it costs to fix it, it may be a felony. You also have damages. The cost of painting your house back to the color you like. The principle applies to someone who paints a beautiful mural on a drab gray wall. That is still vandalism, even though in many respects it is an improvement. On how much a new paint job would cost, original OP, they paid $4,000 in cash, according to the painting company. Before we dive into the update, we got to talk about this for a second. They paid $4,000 in cash just because they didn't like their neighbor's house being yellow. Laura, I get it. If she's going to paint a house, repaint her own. But if there truly is nothing that can be done to hold them accountable, follow the same path. Be petty. Paint it bright pink. Well, yellow, really bothers them. Yeah, you could be really petty with this. You really could. Like, how the hell is there nothing you can do about this? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah. And if they know that they can do this now, where does it stop? They're going to have your house re-roofed now? They're going to start having somebody mow your lawn? I don't know. Oh. It's going to end up looking like a friggin' the neighborhood from Edward Scissorhands here soon. Imagine your neighbor's house color bothering you so much you were going to drop 4K on it. So you don't have to look at the color yellow. There's so much that they could do. They could have just gave me the 4K. No shit. Like, they didn't even let you choose the shade of gray. This is like, my neighbor was depressed, hates happy colors, painted my house gray without my permission. And there's nothing you can do? Bullshit. The testimony from the painting company says a redheaded couple came in. Hire a sketch artist. Connect the dots. There's got to be something here that can be done. Okay, here's the update. Next day, September 6th, 2015. I was going to wait until after the weekend to talk to the lawyer I used for their last lawsuit against me, but there have been further developments, so I had to call him this morning. Beyond the fact that they have filed another lawsuit against me for the cost of the painters. Yes, seriously, I can't say anything further about what all has happened on the advice of my lawyer. I will provide an update once everything is resolved. They filed a suit for the cost of the painters, thereby claiming their crime. Situation's starting to look a little more yellow here, OP. Edit, thank you to everybody who responded to my last post. You really know how to make your girl feel special. Relevant comments here. Comment, well, I suppose that makes proving culpability pretty easy. The painters are no longer needed to pin the neighbors. Comment, seriously, didn't they just completely incriminate themselves? If so, that's actually awesome news for OP. Comment, they did. And what's better is that they're too stupid to realize they've incriminated themselves. Oh my gosh. But that's the end of the story. This is the end of the story. They fully incriminated themselves. But the question remains, even though they've now claimed the deed, can something be done? Do we have any attorneys in chat? Candy Thunder says, this is going to be my first true crime investigation. Legitimately. The last update was in 2015. Candy Thunder found this and was telling me the basics of it, and it was like, it's too good not to use here. Now, here's my funny story. By the way, yes, neighbors, still ask on one. I don't care if they thought they were doing a good deed. They knew they weren't. They did it strictly for their own benefit. But how entitled can someone be to be like, the color of your house has accosted my eyes. I'm going to change it. Thank you very much. And to feel completely justified in that. So much so that they sue for the cost of the painters. We've got Mrs. Bizzo and Mr. Brozo here. Why would they buy a house next to a yellow house? If yellow was a deal breaker, why would they move in there? Oh no, they moved in and they're like, we'll take care of that later. I'm sorry. Like what? I'm sorry, my lord, my lady. Yes, of course. Choose the colors of all the houses around you. We wouldn't want it to displease your eyes. Wouldn't want to present you with any happy colors. We know how you like everything dull and drab. It is malicious. It is entirely malicious. It's their world. We're just living in it. Trying to.